right, here we go. TK Kirkland, welcome back to VladTV.
Yo, to my man Vlad, as always, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the love.
Oh yeah, man, looking fly. You looking fly right now?
Taking care of myself. I feel good. Got a lot of stuff in the works, so I'm excited.
That's what it is. Well, we can't really start the interview off without talking about the biggest news that happened recently, which is the death of DMX at the age of 50.
Yes.
Had you run into DMX over the years?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, tell me about your experiences with DMX.
DMX is just a wonderful spirit. The thing I like about, I'm sorry that he left, my condolences to him and his family. The thing that people to me should see in his effort and survival is that he really tried, Vlad. Listen to me, he went to rehab, he went to jail, he went to rehab, he went to jail. He did everything he could to get it right. And whatever happened the last time, only him and God knows. But I took it as he really put effort to try to do the right thing. And you can't beat that. When I was on tour with him, with the Rough Riders, it was me, the Cash Money Millionaires, the Rough Riders. We had just got off stage. Me and him was on the bus together. And he was just a loving guy. And he loved women. Like I love him, but he really loved women. And we're driving on the bus. The bus door wasn't even closed yet. He jumped off the bus. These girls was on the bus, in their car, riding beside the bus. DMX, who I didn't know at the time, didn't have a driver's license, hopped in the car with these women. Before 2 blocks, I had a little accident. Cops arrested him. We went to jail. That fast. You can't make this up. So my hat off to him. I, on your last interview, I told everybody I think he really and still is the greatest MC that ever touched the mic. Because he did it and my definition, because he did it by himself. He had no hype man. There was no band. There was no special effects. He can just move across that stage like it was just magical. Even though he climbed up on the speakers, it looked like he floated to the speakers' efforts. You know what I'm trying to say. And it was just a pleasure seeing him perform. Stage presence. He had the energy. Oh man, he was just a man.
Yeah, quite a loss.
Yeah, quite a loss.
Quite a loss. Only 50 years old.
Yes.
Leaves behind 17 children.
Yes, and shout out to the women that found DMX attractive. To give him something, because to lay down with him and give him a baby, that's just, it goes to show you that even though he had his little problem, he still was smooth. and when he dropped them names in them songs, he was for real. He's like Keisha, LaToya, Stacy, Karen. All right, he was real with it. God bless him. God bless you, D.
Yeah. And you're right. He had his problems with drugs, but he went back to rehab a number of times.
Yes.
From what I understand from people that I was speaking to close to the situation the whole time, because we were kind of breaking stories along the way.
Yes.
When people said that he had recovered, we had to break the story that he didn't. And when people said he died, we'd have to break the story that he hasn't died.
Yes.
And so forth. So we were speaking closely to it. And from what I understand is that around 6 months ago, he kicked his habit.
Okay.
And that's when he started gaining all that weight.
Right.
If you look at him at the end, he's the heaviest he had ever been.
Right.
Because, doing drugs keeps you skinny.
Right.
But once you kick, then the weight starts to come back.
Yes.
So it seemed like he was on his way to recovery and he was coming back. He had just turned 50 years old. It seemed like he was getting his life together. He had a new baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very unfortunate what happened. And we don't really know, the cause of death initially they were saying was a drug overdose, but then we don't really know. It was a heart attack.
Yes, we don't know. And there's always going to be a suspicious story until you hear the true facts. And right now we don't know. And what we don't do, since me and you are very mature men, we don't speculate.
Right.
We wait till the facts come out.
There you have it.
There you go.
He's about to have his funeral. I'm sure that's going to be a grand affair.
Right now, do you think they're going to have a funeral? They're going to do Zoom? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's going to be interesting with Zoom. You know, what the situation is, because I don't think any funeral homes are doing a funeral.
Well, I think people might make an exception for DMX.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people might make an exception. I mean, there are funerals. It probably depends on where you go. You might have to go to a specific city or even a different state.
Now, did he pass in L.A. or New York?
He passed away in New York.
Okay. I think it might be kind of complicated, Vlad.
You might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right. I haven't followed the rules in New York.
Right.
I know New York got hit so hard that, Well, one of the greatest that ever did it. Prince Philip, the Queen Elizabeth's husband, died on the same day at age 99.
I saw that news thing.
Yeah, where they said the prince and the rapper. And
right.
The prince, like, oh, he was so loved. The rapper's like, he had drug problems. But then the next day, they put out the prince and the king. Did you see that?
Oh no, they did?
They did. They did. They kind of fixed their whole thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The next day, they put out the prince and the king.
Okay.
And then, they basically fixed their mistake.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I love people who, if they make a mistake, they hold themselves accountable. And let me see it. I know you can do it.
Hold on, I'll show you. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's awesome. And a better picture.
Yes.
And a better picture. That looks good.
Yeah. So they fixed it. And, this is what media outlets do. They get it wrong, they correct their mistake, and they keep it moving.
Yeah, and I just love they changed the picture, because I even said, God, they couldn't find another picture. So that's cool.
What do you think? Like right now, one of the biggest pieces of news is that I guess the co-founder of BLM was called out because she had bought $3.2 million worth of property.
Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you about Black Lives Matter and other nonprofit organizations, and I couldn't make up a decision, Vlad. I'm saying to myself, and I talked to some friends about it, I'm like, yo, am I wrong for feeling? Should I feel some kind of way that they took the money and bought property? Should they took the money and bought property for people for Black Lives Matter? But it looked like they was building an empire. Do I get upset because mostly all white companies have done the same thing but have not been exposed? I had a lot of different emotions towards that, and believe it or not, till to this moment, I don't know what to stand on, to be honest with you.
Well, from what I understand, she had like a book deal outside of what she was making from, whatever her salary was being in BLM. Clearly, she was a notable figure, and there's other sources of income. And if she chooses to spend that on property, that is her business. It doesn't sound like she was stealing the money that was coming to BLM and funneling it into properties.
Right.
It doesn't sound like that. But on the other hand, she's also, I believe, presented herself as a Marxist and as a socialist.
Okay.
And if you're doing that, amassing millions of dollars worth of property doesn't quite go along with that ideology.
Yes.
So there's that. This is why most celebrities usually get a trust and buy homes in that trust, so their names are not physically associated with those properties.
Yes.
She's new to this. So this is what happens when you don't follow certain rules.
So that's what happened. That's how she got exposed.
Yeah, people just started looking up her name and associated with certain properties, and they found all these properties totaling millions of dollars. Once again, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong, but hey, people are going to jump on it, and they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. And you know the world we live in today, only take a little bit of this. Bam.
Exactly. And, listen, it is somewhat interesting, though, to see where the money has really gone to. Out of the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars that got donated to these various organizations, and I'm not just saying Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
What exactly happens with this money?
And we got to hold people accountable. I agree with you. If you don't hold them accountable, people go astray. Give me an example. I was talking to, when I talked about Black Lives Matter, I brought up the Michael Jackson story me and you did years ago. And when I tell people that when you leave this earth and you do have a legacy, whatever attorney firm you leave it with, and I don't think people think about this, you have made this attorney firm extremely wealthy forever. And what I mean is the Jackson estate is in the billions of dollars a year, right? The attorneys get a certain amount of money until the day they die. Here's the great part. Here's the clever part. When they die, the firm still keeps the account and they pass the money down to their kids. So Michael Jackson, Tito, and all of them worked hard for an attorney firm to get super rich. Now, after the Jacksons are gone, dead, yes, their kids still get something. Their kids still get something, but the attorneys eat just as long as the Jackson children eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tupac's estate, I believe, is with an attorney firm right now.
Yes.
It's not with the family. The
right.
family, I don't believe, runs it now. I believe that Tupac's sister and her family get a sizable chunk from that. But whoever is running that shit probably gets a nice chunk as well.
And that's what puts me always in a bad position about what I'm doing. You know, I'm like, damn, I'm about to make somebody, I'm busting my ass. My kid's gonna be straight, but here I am, somebody I probably only met for a few years, their kids gonna eat just as well, not as well, but eat off my hard labor. But what can you do? I can't do it by myself, right? Can't do it by myself. Can't do it by myself, but it's a thought, and I want people to think about it.
Well, something that hits kind of close to you, I remember I had interviewed Eazy-E's son, Lil Eazy. And at the time that Eazy was passing, was it his wife or his fiance?
Fiance.
There we go, Tamika.
Yeah, Tamika.
Tamika essentially had him sign off everything into her name.
Her son or Eazy?
All of Eazy-E's estate is run by his fiance.
Right, but who did he get to sign off? Eazy or the son to sign off?
Eazy himself signed it off.
Yeah, yes, I do know.
On his deathbed.
On his deathbed. That was the advice of the attorney, Sweeney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
not saying that it was a great thing, but I know how Sweeney moves. But go ahead.
Okay, Sweeney, I don't know, but I know the name though.
Yes.
I know the name. So essentially, I remember when I interviewed Lil Eazy, we talked about this, and he said, well, Eazy's parents were kind of old at that point, and they really didn't know anything about business or the music industry or whatever else. They were retired.
Right.
So Tamika was kind of the logical choice in a way. But ultimately, and he had so many kids on top of that. Like, how many kids did Eazy have? Like 13 or 15 or something?
Yeah, he had a lot, I think, as well.
So all these kids started to pop up all over the place. And she was helping out everyone, but from what I understand, at one point that help stopped. I think Lil Eazy even mentioned how they went to, I think him or one of his kids went to the doctors and their health insurance wasn't on or something like that.
Right.
And I mean, essentially, the vast majority of that estate, I believe, went to Tamika.
Wow.
The Straight Outta Compton movie, that was all through her. She was one of the producers on that movie.
Yeah, sure was.
Now, they do have a child together.
Yes.
Right? But it's interesting how one of the kids' mothers essentially ended up controlling it all. It's not divided amongst the family. Like, I think some kids probably don't even get anything.
Yeah. Oh, you already know that nobody gets something. And it's sad that it's like that. And that's why men and from basketball players to artists, we have to stop spreading our seeds around so much during our time here on this earth, because towards the end, it does become complicated. Huh. And you can have someone that you truly love. That's what come at my age, I really won't have nobody, I won't marry anybody or moving with me, because I don't want to be so sick that they change the paperwork and my kids think they getting stuff, and then this woman, whoever, has stole everything from my children. Now they got to take that person to court. I mean, it's foul people out here that do stuff like that, Vlad.
Well, Anna Nicole Smith, remember? There was the whole situation with her. She got with a guy that was like 100. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Who was dumb rich, billionaire,
right,
multi-billionaire.
Yep.
And then
that's right.
He was supposed to leave her something, and then the kids fought him, and then I think fought her, and then eventually she didn't get a whole lot. But she
didn't get a lot. She got
the fame. Yeah.
Right. And then she died.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn, yo.
Then she died.
The Hard Rock in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, she was young. She just had a baby recently.
So everybody gotta, my mother used to always say, make sure you have your house in order. And that is a powerful, powerful line.
Were you still in contact with Eazy close to the end?
No, believe it or not, we were Jerry Heller, Eazy-E, and this is the first time anybody's gonna hear this. I had spoke to Jerry Heller to start Ruthless Comedy when Eazy died. We had the paperwork. We was getting ready to launch it. It was going to be ran by me. Jerry was going to be behind it. Eazy loved it. And then I went to jail. I was on the run in Chicago. While I'm in jail, Eazy is sick. He dies while I'm in there. And I never approached Jerry about it again because without Eazy, there's no Ruthless. And without Eazy and Ruthless, can't be Ruthless Comedy. So then I always took that dream and tried to go through everybody. I tried to go with 50 Cent and try to start the G's of comedy. But his manager at the time, Chris Lighty, took so long to sign the deal with William Morris. And by the time we did sign the deal, I passed on. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do it Baby from the Cash Money Millionaires, but Baby was so focused on the Cash Money guys that he just always praised me. I love him for, he always loved that I was a hustler. I was always doing my thing. So I just pretty much kept it to myself and rode this wave. And you got to do things yourself. So I'm what you call the epitome of hard work and continue doing great things. And as I come every day, every week, every month, every year, my life gets better. So I always tell people, if your life doesn't get better as you're getting older, it's something you're doing wrong.
Well, BG Knockout, me and him kind of went back and forth, and he was close to Eazy.
Yes.
He was on one of Eazy's biggest songs, and they were homies. They were doing a lot of shit together at the end. And he feels that there was some foul play in terms of Eazy's death. He doesn't think that it was AIDS, which was what essentially was presented to the world.
Okay.
And, from the outside looking in, to me it seemed understandable, but you rarely hear of someone announcing that they're HIV positive then dying like a week or two later.
Right.
That was a kind of an odd situation. And then you had the interview with Suge Knight where he kind of joked about injecting someone with HIV.
Right.
That whole conspiracy theory started to kind of float around and never really went away.
Right.
From your point of view, as someone who knew Eazy, knew Suge, and knew sort of that whole circle, do you feel like Eazy died of AIDS, or do you think that there was something?
I think he died of AIDS. And the thing about the world in general, and that example shows you, a crime, something very serious can happen in the world. It only takes one person to say something else. And bam, that's it. No matter what comes right, it will always be that other story. And that's just the way the world is. Just like when DMX passed away, everybody in the social media, it was a thing going around that Jay-Z and Beyonce bought his masters for $10 million. And they're going to give it to the children. And it's not true. But that took off. I'm getting a haircut, and shout out to my man Versace in Jersey City, doing my hair, young kid, love him. And he's like, yo, isn't that nice what Jay-Z did? I said, yo, that didn't happen. And just people, when you hear certain stories, try to do your research as much as you can before you start letting it come out of your mouth. And that's my advice on that. So with Eazy, I think that's because he was very small towards the end. And I always say to people, if you wasn't there, you truly don't know. And one thing me and you are not, Vlad, is we don't have crystal balls. We can't look in it, and we can't make those type of decisions. So,
right. And if you take a step back, Eazy-E had 11 children.
Yes.
By a lot of different women.
Right.
He said in a Howard Stern interview that he doesn't use condoms.
Right.
And during that time when you didn't have HIV medications that would keep you alive,
Yes.
and Truvada prep that you could take to avoid
Yes.
getting HIV and everything else like that. The testing wasn't up to par either.
Yes.
Let's not forget that. You didn't have these rapid tests that'll give you your HIV status right away. Hey, if you out there fucking everybody and you fucking the type of girls that are fucking everybody too.
But here's the fascinating thing, from Eazy to even to Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
None of the women died of AIDS. That's deep when you think about it.
Yeah.
All this fucking going on, right? But not one of the women that they had sex with died.
And this is where the conspiracy theories start to pop up.
That's my point.
From that, you
Yes.
take the Suge story, then
Right.
you throw that, throw a little that, on
Right,
top,
right.
seasoning.
Yes.
And now you got a full-blown
Right.
QAnon,
Yep.
conspiracy
Yes.
theory.
It's interesting, and that will always be the way the world is. The truth can happen, but somebody can come in and say a totally different thing, and somebody is going to run with that, and bam, you'll never really get the truth unless you was there.
So, what did you think of Kid Cudi wearing
I
the
know. I'm
dress
saying, whoa.
on SNL?
Let me. I want to choose my words carefully when I say this. And then I saw the article today. He did it in behalf of Cobain.
Right. Kurt Cobain did a similar performance wearing the
Yes.
same type of dress.
Yes.
That's what he said.
I just wish that men in general really understood the definition of what they represent as a man to the world. And what I mean by that is, there's no way I'm going to put a dress on for national TV. There's no way I'm going to do a movie that I wore a dress in a movie, knowing how that affects the young men and the men in our community and around the world. There's no way. But we are in a society today that you could say the wrong thing and it could spiral totally out of control. And it's gotten us pushed back into a corner that if you do truly want to share your feelings, you're considered a hater. You might have protests coming at you. You can have all these things. So what I want to say to the people who admire that, I want to say to people who feel that is wrong, in my definition of the whole situation, I'm just going to keep it nice and easy. I didn't like it. I was pretty much embarrassed as a man that you know the rules of being, especially an African-American brother, young kid. You know the effect that was going to happen. You don't need to do that to sell records. You don't need that to getting attention. At the end of the day, I want men to understand they are men, period. That's me.
I didn't really feel it. And he announced afterwards, because I guess Virgil was the one who designed it.
Yes.
And he said this is, he's coming out with a new collection with Virgil, and the dress will be part of that collection. And I mean, I get it. You're gonna get a nice check from this.
Yeah, when do men start modeling dresses for? So he got. Hold on, let me make sure I'm clear. So this guy designed a dress for a man, for other men to see it and wear. Are you kidding me? Hold on, let's make sure. Wait. So I know when you get a model, She puts a dress on, she has a nice shade, and girls say, oh my God, I gotta run out get that dress. So are you telling me that we have got to the marketing stage now that men are making dresses for other men? And there's some men out there that sell Kid on SNL that, oh, Frankie, come here. Kid Cudi has on this beautiful fucking dress. Is that this is what we're doing now?
Well,
Wow.
I'll tell you this. Men designing dresses is nothing new.
Right.
In fashion. There have been phenomenal, I think, was it Saint Laurent? I think
Yes.
was a man
I'm aware
who
of that.
designed beautiful. I mean, because a man.
Women.
For women, right.
For women.
Right.
Cause I watch a real man to see a nice dress and say, yo, my bitch will look nice in that. Let me take a boom. You sitting on TV now, you can see something and go on your phone and order it. So what you're really saying now is there's two dudes on the couch. And say, you see the fucking material in that dress? I gotta have it. Man. Man.
Oh yeah, the way the hair on my chest kind of blends with the material, it's just perfect.
Man.
Perfect.
This is. And to the people who watch me and Vlad, I always have to say this. Y'all want us to respect your ways, but respect our ways too, because we all have an opinion, and as grown-ups, we are entitled to our opinions. I hate when people try to tell us we're wrong, that your thoughts matter and that you're right. No, what I'm saying is you are entitled to your opinion. We are entitled to our opinion. Respect to respect.
Well, it's interesting because we're talking about dresses. Before this even happened, we did an interview with the football player Ricky Williams.
Yes.
You know
okay,
about
I
him?
remember that years ago.
Okay, one of the top guys in his day.
Yes.
The interview was actually conducted by Sean Prez, one of our outside interviewers.
Okay.
And in the interview, Sean brought up an ESPN cover that Ricky Williams did.
Yes.
Well, let me show you this cover here.
I saw the cover when I was a kid.
So you remember the cover?
Exactly what
Here
you're
it
talking
is
about.
again.
Yep, I remember that. That
There
was
you go.
embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Let me say it again. That was, especially back then, that was embarrassing. I really wasn't, I was in my own world, doing my own things. I'm quite sure that if I was connected to people and talking, I would have heard more flack about that. But that was embarrassing to see him in that dress. So I would like to know how he feels about that now.
Well, we talked to him about that.
And what'd he say?
He said he's fine with it. The way he presented it was this. He said, look, and the backstory is that he's coming out of college. He just won the Heisman Trophy. And he just got signed by Mike Ditka, one of the great coaches. And the deal was so crazy because it was the first time in NFL history that a team gave up all of their picks just for one player. So that year, Ditka only got him.
Okay.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. So essentially, the concept behind it was, look, we're now married. We're not married this season at the Hill.
Right.
We only got one player. This is all we got. So it's Ricky Williams and Mike Ditka, and they're married. And from his point of view, he said, look, I'm coming off the Heisman win. I had broken all types of records at my school. He went on to actually have the stadium named after him and have a statue at the stadium.
Okay, Ricky did.
Ricky did. And
Okay.
he said from his point of view, he said, I didn't feel like my masculinity was questioned at all. So I wasn't insecure about my masculinity. So I was fine with sort of playing along and going with that concept. It does look crazy though, a white man and a black man wearing a wedding dress.
Regardless of how you slice it, again, this is what I'm trying to say. Men, black, white, Spanish, but since I'm here, I'm got to really focus on black men.
Right.
You have to understand who you are as a man. And ain't no way, especially running motherfuckers over during the season, win the Heisman Trophy. I can see me now on the set of ESPN and these motherfuckers bring out the dress. I can see, yo, Mike, get that what the fuck y'all doing, Mike? Dicker, I ain't signed up for this shit. I'd have been throwing all kind of shit over. They would have had to hold me down to put that motherfucking dress on me. I swear to God. Because I'd have been like, yo, we ain't wearing no motherfucking dress. Give me some jeans. I'm gonna rock a t-shirt. I just want a little watch. Boom. And that's it. Who the fuck idea said put motherfucking dress on me? I'd have been going off. Lad.
Well, I'll put it like this. As much as I respect ESPN as a major platform, if ESPN magazine called me up right now and said, listen, we want to put you and TK Kirkland on the cover of the next magazine, you have to wear a dress, Vlad. The answer would be no, thank you.
Damn right.
I don't need that cover that much.
And if you call me saying, look, TK, listen, yo, we blew up. They want us to do an interview. I got to wear a dress. How do you feel about it? I'll block you, Vlad. You like, TK? TK? TK, I'd have blocked you.
What did you think about the Quavo and Saweetie elevator fight?
He didn't hit her.
He did not.
And that's awesome. And that's one of the things I talk about throughout this country about control your emotions. And that's a good example. That video, and did it go viral?
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see other men, to see no matter what went down, he controlled himself. And even though she limped off, he didn't have nothing to do with that. And that's what men have to do, Vlad. We talked about it for years, since we first did our first interview about men and driving across state lines to shoot a baby, shoot the woman, and women who are going to men's cars while the man is in the girl's apartment and putting gasoline in the car, putting a hoodie on to make it seem like nobody's gonna see you, and it blow up. You could have died. Like, I don't know what's going on, what's in the universe, what's in the air, and it was worse before, but everything seems like it's just magnifying even more now. And if you're out here searching for a dream, I would tell people, stop dating. Dating is the Achilles heel to people in their careers. Everybody wants to fall in love and be in order to me to get where you gotta go, you gotta cut ties with relationships. You gotta be so focused to understand the when, because you gotta be able to move when you need to move. And when you fall in love, you gotta think about that person first. You gotta be like, oh, I can't do that. Or that person see you're in a relationship and that person sees that you're starting to blow. Now that person has a jealousy thing about them. That person doesn't like what you're doing. So now you got problems anyway. You can't win for losing.
Yeah, well, in that elevator fight, it looked like a tug of war that she ended up losing, and then she kind of bumped her head or whatever against the
tug of war is cool. If he'd have swung just a little bit, Vlad, he'd have been in trouble. Because what my man who hit the girl in the elevator and knocked her out, played for the Ravens?
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, man. He knocked this bitch out. Listen to me.
Yeah.
He knocked that bitch. That bitch was out cold, like a Mike Tyson fight. And here's the pain in the decision making like that, right? You mad at your girl, you playing for the Ravens, you up for a big contract now, right? You knock her out. They don't find out about it months later. The teams go through all this trouble. It gives the Ravens the opportunity not to sign you because he was getting a big check that year. And you know what he did that was crazy? He married her. Let me say to you why I'm saying it's wrong to marry someone. Why I'm telling to the people it's wrong to cheat on someone and then go back to him. Because Rice for the rest of his life will look at her knowing that he knocked that female out and knowing that he lost millions, not a couple, millions of dollars over hitting that woman. And this is what I explain to men about, do you really want to be with the girl? Is that really in your heart? Because most of the men cheat anyway. They go through all the hoopla to get the chick, right? They get the chick, yeah. Okay, I love you. And then you still cheat. You still have these problems. And the problem is, nobody knows who they are. They don't know who they are, Vlad.
Well, I've always felt when it comes to women, if a woman starts to assault you or hit you, you should just take those lumps and try to just get out that situation, because a woman really can't hurt you that badly. It's not like getting into a fight with a man.
Well, that was years ago. Have you seen what has changed in the last 10 years? I talk about this in my act now. Men are dating women 3 times their size.
Okay.
Men are like 180. Bitches is 215, 250, 270, dating a little skinny nigga, a little skinny white guy with tight pants, Timbs, they belts are over their ass, so they can't move. You can't, you're not flexible. You can't, your agility is gone. Your athleticism is taken away when you got tight pants on, your shoes not tied. So you got women strong-arming, men in corners at restaurants. A dude was went viral. He was texting a bitch in the shower. The girl came in the shower with the camera, with a belt, and was whooping his ass in the shower. She was asking, who the fuck you on the phone with? He kept saying, my homie. It was a bitch. Well, tell your fucking, it was embarrassing. I'm screaming at the phone, talking about, where's your location? Because I felt the need to come save this dude. So men, do not date a woman that weighs more than you. These guys are dating women that's huge, insane. And I ain't talking about like a pound more. I'm talking about heavy. And then the guys look like bitches, right? So now they skinny with the big pant or with the big shoes. Listen, with the belt over their ass tight, and now they got braids that look like a bitch that go down to the back they spine. So from far away until you see the wall, you might think that's a bitch. Until you get up close, you might look at somebody the wrong way for a minute and say, oh shit, that was a motherfucking nigga. And my gay, this nigga turn around, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Like I'm in Philly. I'm getting Starbucks early in the morning. It was I call them transgenders. It was a transgender in front of me. Had the fake booty, had the arms done, but he didn't have that voice right. So when he was ordering, I take a hot chocolate. And I knew I ear hustled. I said to myself, don't make eye contact with this motherfucker when he turned around, TK. Look at the fucking menu. Don't look, Vlad. You know how when somebody turns around, you look at them and you nod? I wasn't nodding at this motherfucker. I wasn't even gonna make eye contact. I stayed, I swear to God, it was the most serious moment of the month. Because I made sure I looked at I knew everything on the menu anyway that was on the menu. But when he turned around, I stayed looking at that motherfucking menu until I heard ding, that was the elevator that came down and took that motherfucker away. Oh my God, it was scary. Because you know they have superpowers. People don't know that. If you make eye contact with them, you'll follow them.
That's what happened to Mr. C, apparently.
Yes.
he made eye contact.
Right. Now, I heard that story of Mr. C.
Yeah, I mean, he's into transgenders. I mean, it is what it is. He's living his life. He's came out the closet. He's done some interviews about it. Hey man, live your truth. That's what you want to do. He's probably a lot happier.
Right, and that's what I'm
having it
saying.
out
If you
there
know
than
who you
sneaking
are, right?
around.
If you know who you are, that's cool. If you know who you are.
Well, allegedly, Quavo took the Bentley truck back from
Allegedly,
after they broke
yes.
up. I mean, well, at first it was a story, but then he's rapping about it now.
Yes.
Now maybe he's just running with it, just
Yes,
the
he's
hype
probably
of
running
it.
with it.
Do you feel like a man should be able to take a car back after you break up with a woman?
Yep.
If it's like a lease?
If it's $350,000. You can keep a Toyota Camry. You can keep a Kia. But $350,000? I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's leased anyway. So
I think so. I think it's leased, or it's in his name, or else he
yes,
wouldn't be able to take
and
it
me
back.
and you talked about this a long time ago about people who, these young kids who probably do go out and spend this money cash on cars. How that's the dumbest move in the world. Is to spend cash on a vehicle that you're not gonna like in 3 years.
Yeah.
And you young kids gotta listen. You start yourself a company, doesn't cost that much. You get yourself an LLC. You pay the taxes depending on the state that you're in every year. And you gotta have some type of business going through. You can sign it up with the business. Keep your credit good. If your credit good, and you gotta have cars. Like, sometimes they don't let you, unless you put a lot of money into it, they don't let you just go get a lease. If you don't have a history of not renting or buying or leasing a car. But you got a lease, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way you should get a Rolls Royce and pay cash for it. Now here's my little thing. Like, there's certain events around the world. You got the Super Bowl, you might have the All-Star break, you might have certain things. Now I have nice vehicles, but if I really want to stunt, I know how to go to Beverly Hills Car Rental, shout out to my guys, and I'll rent a nice, expensive car for 2 or 3 days. It might cost me $6,000, $7,000 for 2 or 3 days, but I'd rather pay that and take it back. But I'm not driving no Rolls Royce to Albertsons supermarket to be in the parking lot that somebody might scratch it or a cart might hit it just to come back with milk, eggs, and put in the trunk.
Right.
I'm not doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, to each his own. What we try to do when me and you on the show, check me if I'm wrong, we try to give people they have common sense about money, common sense about their decisions in life, common sense on how to get into real estate or some type of business that can better your life. This is what I feel me and you do when we come on here. And they do listen. We haven't got all of them yet, but we do get a few to listen.
Yep. Well, what did you think of Lil Nas X doing the video where he's giving Satan a lap dance?
Here's the thing I thought about Lil Nas X, right? One, I wanted to know who is the agent getting all the men to cross over to be a transgender? Okay, because that person is phenomenal. Because what did they offer Nas, when he came out? And to hear the video, to see it, when I see videos or pictures of people like that, Vlad, to be honest with you, I don't read about it. There's certain things I allow in my life throughout the month, throughout the year. Now, I see the titles, and I say to myself, do I really want to read that and have that poison in my head? Because what I did over the years, I control what comes into my world. I control what affects me during the day. Now, I admit during the politics years that when Trump was there, I had to follow what that motherfucker was doing, because just in case he pushed the nuclear button. But when he left, what I said, and I'm much older than a lot of these people out here, what I said to myself was, I'm glad that politics went back to being boring. Let the old people handle it, as long as we stay now alert so they can't pass certain laws that we don't see coming. But when I see the young man, Lil Nas X, I see his moves now. I know that he went diamond. that last album, which is fucking unbelievable.
Well, on the last song, Old Town Road went diamond. I don't think the album went diamond.
Okay, just the single.
I believe so. I don't think I'm sure the album did pretty well, but not
right.
like
Okay.
that single.
So I did read that, right? I saw that years ago when it went diamond. I did see him maybe last year or the year before with the Doritos commercial. So I said, okay, all right. So I said, he's making moves, he's doing this thing. And I leave it there, I'm glad. I don't really follow him that much to be in his business. He is truly one of those people I leave alone.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. His last album went platinum.
Okay, so he's making money, he can eat, and I do like him for one thing. When 6ix9ine was trying to clown the gay community, Lil Nas X exposed him for 6ix9ine being in his DM.
Right. Well, look, I've been saying this for years. At some point, there's going to be a gay rapper with a song that you just can't ignore. It's going to be so big and ubiquitous, and that's going to get him in the game, and he's going to be able, if he has the ability to keep staying in the game, and look, this new song is doing well. It was number one on the charts at one point. Now he has multiple hit songs under his belt. He is completely out of the closet, and he's part of the hip hop world.
And you're talking about Nas X.
Wants to work with him, cool. Lil Nas X.
Yes.
Even Nas did a song with him.
I didn't know
Big
that.
Nas and Lil Nas. Oh yeah, on his last album there's a remix.
Okay.
Of, I think Rodeo or something.
Right. Well, you better believe they did it in separate studios, and Nas got a check.
Well, Paul Pierce just got fired from ESPN.
Yes.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it to see an idea. One, I'm disappointed in the hoes he chose for the video. Listen to me, yo. Where do these dudes get these ugly bitches from, yo? The hoes in that bitch was horrible. Especially the one when he had, and she was right by the chair, and she was twerking, and he's like, do something, whatever. He don't even have the verbiage right on what he's supposed to say, and the hoes was ugly. There wasn't no bad bitches in there to lose your job. You supposed to have some bad women in that motherfucker, and I was so disappointed. And I'm sorry, Vlad. They were young. They were kids. Those good kids. They was kids in their 20s, early 30s. I'm talking about. I don't know what they're. I like voluptuous women, small waists, nice thighs, and women, but that's classy. I mean, his whole setup was horrible. Let me tell you how that setup's supposed to be. It's supposed to have been a nice pool, catered, with staff walking by with champagne and whipped cream and grapes. And that's how you act like a king. You sitting back and people are dancing for you. You got this nice chair. And it's all about presentation. He was supposed to do it so smooth that me, you, and other people around the world saw it, said, ooh, this motherfucker fly. Ooh, yo, you see Paul Pierce, nigga? Ooh, ain't nobody do that. You know what people did? You see the bitches and these some ugly, these some ugly hoes. This motherfucker lost his job, and then he lost his job on the day he was off. He didn't get fired at work. He got fired because of the bitch. And he even said, I'm gonna get fired for this. Not for them bitches. And you supposed to, your wife is supposed to say, baby.
Well, he's not married anymore.
Okay, even though he's not married, I'm quite sure he got a girlfriend. See, you're supposed to have bitches so bad that when your bitch do see it, you supposed to say, look, I ain't fucking with you anymore. And by the way, them hoes look cute. That's what you want another woman to say when you know it's about to break up. You want her to compliment you. Look, I'm not fucking with you no more, but them are some cute bitches. Bye. Them bitches was ugly.
Well, according to the internet, Paul Pierce is worth $70 million.
Yes.
which is multi-generational wealth. He does not need any more checks from ESPN.
Yes.
So it may have really been just he woke up that morning and said, man, I'm tired of this damn hamster wheel.
And that's what I also said too. That was my original thought. I said, I didn't know how much he was worth until you told me. But I said, I think that he did that to get out of his contract. He wanted to get fired. So I did say that. I did what you're saying. I did, because what other answer is there?
There's really no good answer. I had John Sally on my show recently, who knows Paul.
Yes.
And he said from his point of view, it looked like something was off. Because from the Paul that he always knew, Paul was the dude that was telling other people not to do that shit. He was the responsible one. He's the one that, would get stuff done, professional, business-minded. So when he saw him like that, he said, oh, man, I'm kind of worried.
Okay,
But then again, at some point, man, when you have so many millions, so many tens of millions, you have to go back and question, like, why you're doing it every day. And you're working for this Disney-owned company, ESPN, and the rules are very, very narrow in terms of what you can do. You can't really be the man that you really are while working for Disney.
Right.
It just doesn't work that
That's
way.
True.
They have, and you sign a document agreeing to that shit. Like that check you're getting, and it was probably a multi-million-dollar a year deal.
Right.
But he's worth $70 million, so, well,
whatever happened to the old, okay, but here's something. Whatever happened to the old way, just walk in and say, look, motherfuckers, I quit.
I quit, right.
You can do that too now without embarrassing yourself. There is a thing you could go in and say, I quit, and keep it moving. Or have your agent say, Paul wants to get out of his contract. He doesn't want to come in anymore. So that's what I mean. And now, since we put all these different stories out, this is going to be a conspiracy theory too. Somebody's going to say what you said. Somebody's going to say, there was some ugly pictures on that video. That's why he got fired. The president of Disney saw that video and said, all the money we paid this motherfucker, he couldn't have got no better looking bitches. Get his agent on the phone, fire this motherfucker. Or what? This is what he doing with our money? He couldn't pick no prettier bitches? That's funny.
Well, I was looking on your Instagram, and there's a picture of you with Franklin Saint from Snowfall.
Yes.
Yes, real name Damson Idris, I believe is how you pronounce it. It looked like a 80s R&B cover.
It does. And let me tell you how we hooked up. I was in Baltimore. I was doing get ready for my show, and me and him was all on the radio show together. John was there. What's John's name? I can't believe my brain went blank. The director.
John Singleton?
John Singleton. Cause I'm thinking of Singletary, something else in my head. And all of us there, me and John go way back to the early 90s when he was doing Boys in the Hood. And I always wanted to work with John. And matter of fact, when you put this up, I'm gonna post a picture of me and John on Singleton, because we did it the same day. And believe it or not, the gentleman from Snowfall said that I was the greatest comedian he had ever saw. So I said, let's take this picture. Bam, we took the picture. We went on the interview together. The jacket that he has on, I gave him the jacket. It was a gentleman who was giving out jackets who came to that place to give us sponsorship. And that jacket was too small for me. And he put that jacket on right there while we took the picture. And the gentleman's from Baltimore, so I forgot the name of the jacket.
I love the show. It's my favorite show on television right now.
I haven't watched it this year, but as soon as I get some time, I really want to watch it. And they said it got better. So I haven't seen it since the time when he was talking to his boy in the car, and he said, I don't give a fuck about what you don't like about a motherfucker. I built this shit brick by brick. That's the last thing I saw.
There you have it. From our early interviews, there was a whole thing that happened, the TK Kirkland effect on VladTV, where essentially no matter what happens, there is a TK Kirkland comment claiming credit for this.
Yes.
Now, you fast forward to 2021, and Soulja Boy is now trying to take credit for everything that's been happening.
Yes.
Like, the first rapper on YouTube, which is true.
Right.
First rapper, I think, on MySpace, which is true as well.
Yes.
First rapper to wear Bapes, and
Right.
it kind of goes on and on.
Now, what are Bapes?
And,
I saw that, but what are Bapes?
bathing apes. Those are those, they're basically Air Force Ones, but have the star on the side.
Okay.
They're popular in like the early, mid 2000s.
Yes.
They're still technically around.
Okay.
Whatever. But Soulja Boy really did originate a lot of that shit.
Right.
People don't really give Soulja Boy the props that he deserves, I feel.
Here's the thing about the world today. People just don't believe. They have to actually be there to really believe, or, I said this on stage the other night, a white man would have to say, it happened.
Okay.
Do you get my point when I say white man? Because all our lives, we tend to think that white people tell the truth. And when a black person somebody say, oh, get the fuck out of here. Give me an example. I tell everybody in this world today that if you're not sitting on $300,000-$400,000 money during this crisis, what happened in this universe, there's something wrong with the way you think. I said, because what I want people to understand, no matter, whenever you see a tragedy, there's an opportunity. And now with the opportunities and the tragedy, the government is involved. And the government has put out PPP loans, SBA loans. Now they put out another thing for vendors and concert people that is losing money. They got loans for the banks and everybody. But when you tell African American or someone without common sense, they'll say that's a scam. This is what they'll say. It's a scam. And I tell people all the time, I know the news reports the scams of people who got busted for getting $2 million in buying houses. They bought Rolex or going to the strip club. They want you to think it's a scam. And if you think a scam, guess what, Vlad? You miss out, because they have deadlines that you have to have this stuff done to get a little bit of money. And what was so crazy about the first SBA loan, they gave you $10,000 off the top and said, sorry, you can keep that part. Then on the SBA loan, you got 40 years to pay it back, right? Now they're going to try to pass the law like the PPP loan, because some people have read, they're going to try to forgive, Vlad, $1.5 billion. Basically saying, we're sorry, keep it. So they went through the SBA. Now I'm in my 60s. You got 40 years to pay it back. Vlad, it's a win for me. Vlad, if I live 40 more years, I'm 100. You can have all, if I live to be 100, I promise, they gonna get every dime. But, but if I check out of here way before then, I will still win. I see you on the other side. PPP, player. Player.
I love that.
And people need to understand, like if you sitting with a woman, like them girls that's in Paul Pierce's video, them bitches don't know about no PPP loans on the SBA loan. If niggas is fucking with them kind of women, or women are fucking with them kind of men that can't help them eat or prosper, everybody dating for the wrong fucking reason. The government has put this out for you to take advantage. The crime, and not even crime, you ain't gotta do drugs no more. You ain't even gotta do credit card fraud no more. You just gotta fill out some paperwork, know how to write, know how to read, and fill it out, and have a bank account. And submit your document. I don't care if you get 11,000. And you gotta do your taxes. Because they go off your taxes. You gotta do your taxes. Man, there's so much legitimate hustle out here in the world, and people worry about the wrong things.
Well, did you hear about the woman who accidentally got 1.2 million in her bank account? She then transferred the money into another account, bought a new house,
Bought a car,
and a $70,000 Hyundai. Now,
Yes.
who spends $70,000 on a Hyundai? I mean, that's what I want to know first and foremost. And then when the bank realized their problem, they kept trying to call her and text her and mail her, and she
wouldn't
ignored all
answer the
that.
phone. But what's funny, she had a job that was in law enforcement.
Right, she was a 911 dispatcher.
Right.
She lost her job. She
Look,
got
they
fired.
her and they arrested her. This shit, you can't make this shit up, yo. She know that this wasn't her money. She know they coming. You know they coming. There's no way they gonna let you keep 1 point something million. No way.
Right.
No way. Now listen, I'd have hired an attorney and had them negotiate a deal, maybe an award or something. They probably would have said, okay, give us all back the money, we'll give you $1,000, but it was really a bad banking transaction. And they try to do it legitimately by, honestly, by, let me call them, let's figure this out, ma'am, we made a mistake. But once they started calling and you knew that they was on your ass, you knew, when you know they're on your ass, Vlad, you got to do the right thing.
Right. And I guess 75% of the money has been recovered. I mean, if you buy a house, how are you thinking they're not going to get that back from you? You're buying a house.
Yes.
Now, what she should have done, I'm not saying she should do that, but what she should have done was leave the country. If she works as a 911 dispatcher, chances are she'll never stack that amount of money in her lifetime.
Absolutely.
That was the most she will ever see.
And that's what got her excited.
That's what got her excited.
Yep.
You need to take that money, go someplace where there's no extradition policy.
Yep.
Like, I believe Venezuela.
Yes.
Iran.
Right.
Russia. Go to Russia.
If you're going to do
Fuck
it, and that's the thing about crime, right? Most criminals, when they do crime, they don't study the laws, they don't study what's going on, and when they normally go on the run, they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
People break out of prison without a plan. They break out, they get on the highway, and they look both ways. Like, yo, I really ain't got nowhere to fucking go. Let me take my ass back in here. You gotta have an execution. You gotta have, listen, Vlad, we tell these stories and when I read that story about the young lady, I was on the elevator going to my room, and I put my head back like you did, and I said to myself, you can't make this up. This shit you cannot make up. People are really out here thinking and moving like that.
Well, speaking of crimes, I remember a few months ago, my name was trending for 2 days because there was a fake article going around that I'm the reason why Casanova 2 times was busted by the feds.
I read it.
But, we have a guy on our staff who does all of our legal articles.
Yes.
Right? He's the one that works with the court systems. He could go and request paperwork.
Right.
He listens in on hearings and so forth.
Yes.
And he went and got us the actual audio from Casanova 2 times bail hearing.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, VladTV wasn't named in that bail hearing.
That's right.
But Nick Cannon was
Yes.
specifically named in that hearing
Yes.
as an interview that Casanova did, which they used in turn to deny his bail.
Yes.
Partially. I'm not saying it was just Casanova's interview
Yes.
with Nick that did it, but it was a bunch of stuff. But Nick was actually named twice, by name in that. And it's interesting how quiet everyone got about calling me the feds at that point, and so forth.
And I told you this. It's just once something get out, it's hard to reel it back in. It's just out because everywhere I go, they try to talk about me and you. TK, why are you doing this? Why you doing? And I'm grown. See, I think people think I'm 20 or 30 years old. You understand? I think they think I'm a child. I'm really a full-grown man with kids in college. I pay AARP memberships. There's certain things you can't say to me just out of respect. So when people do say something to me, I just give them a stare of authority Like, do you understand? Like, you talking to a grown man there, there's certain things that shouldn't come out of your mouth when you speak to me, and they normally get it. They normally get it. Don't ask me anything that's beneath your education level at all. Period. I don't play, Vlad. And to the people out there who see this interview, you heard what I said. I'm grown. Don't ask me why I fuck with Vlad. Don't ask me. This is my peoples right here. Period. Whatever the fuck y'all doing, whatever y'all thinking, y'all think. I'm on a journey. I know what I'm doing. And it is what, these are my people. I'll tell you straight on this motherfucking camera or in the street. However you want to do it. T to the motherfucking K. You know, I hate to start talking like that and get slick. I always try to come off, real smooth and, laid back. But, I got to start getting loose with these motherfuckers out here. Let them know what it is.
Well, yeah. And all the people that were bashing me and telling people not to interview with Vlad anymore, like Questlove.
Yes.
Was one of the big ones with his 100 million Twitter followers. Was like, he tweeted that fake article, said, I told you, I try to warn y'all. And I remember I DM'd him, and I'm like, yo, you do know that you putting that out there, number one, is fake.
Right.
And it hurts my company. It hurts my business by you doing that.
Right.
And you and I have always been cordial and cool. And at first he said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never even tweeted about you. So then I screen captured his tweet and showed it to him. And then he didn't say nothing. And then he took the tweet down.
Wow.
And then I said, hey, here's the actual person who's named in the thing. You want to go ahead and tweet that as well? And then he blocked me.
Man.
So,
and let's make sure we're clear since you said that. We're not trying to throw Nick Cannon under the bus, ladies. And let me tell you why. Because the education level is low, Vlad. I'm just keeping the fucking 100. When I read some of the shit people and talk to them, their fucking education level is low. Somebody will take what me and you just said and say, yo, they try to fuck over Nick Cannon. I'm telling you they'll do it. And I'll tell anybody, Nick too, Nick, my boy, that's not what we just did. We talked about what was a true document that actually happened. These are facts. That's what that's what intelligent people do when we talk. We talk about facts, we put out logical information. When I'm wrong, Vlad goes on that computer and says, TK, you wrong. When he's wrong about the Uber, you say they didn't know, they didn't make a lot of money, and you Google and say, oh wow, I didn't know they made that kind of money. That's what grown men do.
And my point of putting this out was just to sort of show everyone that no one's really the feds. Like, I'm not the feds, Nick Cannon ain't the feds, Charlemagne's not the feds, Adam 22's not the feds, Ebro's not the feds.
People just like
these
talking.
guys, these guys will do interviews, and if they still are connected to a life of crime, which the feds are trying to say that Casanova 2 times is, because what they're getting him on in that interview is he said, I'm still ape, meaning that he's still tied to this gang that they're trying to tie him into over a RICO case.
Right.
When he said that, they said, aha, we're going to take this little soundbite and we're going to use it to help our case. Now, before then, he's saying, oh, no, I'm not really part of that gang no more, but those are still my people, whatever. You know, there's a bigger story there. But if you are still at all associated with a criminal enterprise, you should not be talking about it at all. And I've interviewed lots of people, like, I mean, shit, pull up my, what's the famous interview? Pee Wee Longway that raps about Crippin' and Blue Rags and everything else, all this gangster shit. When I interviewed it with him, and we'll play a little clip for it, he'll say, I don't know what you're talking about. I just like the color blue.
Right.
Nah, man. And whenever I try to steer the questions back, he's like, I don't know about that street shit. I was a school kid. I was, and he just kept denying everything.
And that's what people need to understand when they come on TV.
When I look at your music, when I listen to your music, and I look at your album covers and stuff like that, I'm seeing a lot of blue. The color blue seems to be very prominent.
It's a nice color, my boy. It's a nice color. It ain't nothing like that.
Now, I assume there's a Crip thing going on?
Nah, just a nice color.
Just a nice color?
Yeah.
No cripping going on?
No nothing. Just a nice color, that's the scene.
You see it with R. Kelly. You seen anybody that was in the life of crime that when they go on TV, the feds or the state police use those interviews to lock your ass up because you have a mouthpiece. Then most criminals don't know the law. Like your guy Pee Wee knew the law. They have laws now that if you associate yourself with any type of organization and they under investigation, you can go to jail. You can go, I don't know about these young men. I like pussy too much. I like traveling. I like getting my back rubbed. I love hanging with my children. I like shopping. I like getting facials. Listen to me, Vlad. I don't play.
Right. I
want peace and quiet in my life.
There's a very damaging law out there called gang enhancement.
Yep.
And that will allow the authorities to take a crime that might not be a big deal, that might have a year or 6 months associated with it, and they throw on that gang enhancement, and it'll get turned into 5-10 years.
That's right.
Right off the hat, right off the the drop of a hat, and they're not only going to take your interviews, but they will take your music as well.
Yeah.
Don't think if you're rapping about being in a gang and not denying interviews, they're going to still take that music and play it to the jury.
Yep.
This has been happening since the 80s.
That's
since
right.
the 80s, the authorities, have been taking music, album covers, liner notes, interviews, whatever they could find to help their case. And if the judge allows it, then it's now part of the case.
That's right.
And it's really not up to you. And you could try to say, that's just entertainment. That's not really me. But if the things line up and you are in some sort of situation and they have this thing to really, associate it with, then you might have an issue. Now, if you have completely left the crime world alone and you have nothing, like I talk about buying a kilo of cocaine back in like 98.
Right.
I could talk about that all day long because that was the end of my drug career right then and there. I have not touched.
And you got to know the statute of limitation about something.
The statute of limitations, right. I know that's not going to come out back to bite me because I stopped selling drugs after that.
Right.
I said, this is not for me.
Right.
So I could talk about it all day long.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to say who I did it with or anything else like that, but me, myself, that's my story. I could share it. I don't care.
Right.
But if I'm still selling drugs and I'm talking about my kilo in 98, that might bite me.
You're damn right. Damn right.
Exactly. Now, last time you and I talked about Lori Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after our interview, I did an interview with Boosie where what he said ended up going viral. Did you actually see the interview with Boosie?
No, I didn't.
I mean, basically what Boosie said was, and he kind of clarified it afterwards when it started to go viral, was, look, if you have a daughter and you're okay with her having sex with 6 or 7 guys, all from the same industry, within, a 2-year time frame, well, then I got nothing to say to you.
Yep.
For him, who's got daughters, he doesn't look at that as an accomplishment.
Right.
Yes. And everyone got on it.
Yes. Now, and I agree with him on that. See, I wouldn't let my daughters do those shit like that. I'm being honest. See, I'm a certain type of man in my home. From my oldest to my youngest, the discipline and the respect is so phenomenal that I know that my character as a man, the way I move, I take care of my business, I treat my children the way they're supposed to be treated. If they wouldn't even allow themselves to even think that bullshit around daddy. I'm telling you that. My kids know I wouldn't have that shit. So it's not to say that her family isn't doing the right thing, but it all goes back to who raised you. No matter how you slice it, it goes down to who raised you. And it's easy, it's a double standard. It's okay to agree with that if you don't know who her parents are, and I'm not associated. So I agree that's how she should live a life. But when you are in a famous family, how you conduct yourself is very, very important. How you go through here is very important. And I take pride in being a great dad, a great person, now that my children are young. When I was young, I used to do crazy shit because it was just me. But having children and certain family members, you want people to respect you. So if Lori's hearing this, I'm saying, look, babe, I love what you're doing, but you got to slow it down a little bit, because even though your parents are not saying nothing to you, you are embarrassing your parents to people who love their children and people who respect their children.
Well, yeah, I remember when Lawrence Fishburne's daughter ended up doing that adult film.
Yes, right.
I remember the first thing I heard from his response was, why did you have to use your last name? Why not come up with an adult film name like everyone else does? Yeah. Why do you have to drag the Fishburne name into
and it's
this?
Levels to that now. See, he said why you brought in the last name. But in actuality, he didn't parent her well. Somewhere on that journey, he got disconnected from her, and it should have never got to that. So he has to hold himself accountable for her situation. She probably did it out of pain, and my daddy wasn't there. But as a dad, if my daughter or daughters did something like that, Vlad, I will be crushed, because I'm like, where did I fail? So I got one daughter studying to be a dentist. I got another daughter getting ready to run one of my companies, and they are just true, nice young ladies. And I take pride in that, and to have them go any other direction, Vlad, woo! Because they're my life, you understand?
Right, because, every time you hear Lori Harvey's name, you're going to think Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Even though that's not his biological daughter.
Yes.
But remember, when he got remarried, his new wife not only changed her name, but she changed her kid's name as well to that Harvey name.
Yes.
And that was a little boss move on her on
you already know.
Her part.
Listen to when you said that, that's that bitch clever. She clever, boy. That's what I'm gonna leave it just like that. She clever.
Yeah,
that's some clever shit.
At the end of the day, and people, it's interesting also because as the whole debate started to happen, the thing that people started to say was like, oh, well, Vlad and Boosie, they just jealous because they're ugly and they can never get a woman as fine as Lori Harvey. Now let me just say this, without going into any specifics between me or Boosie.
Yeah.
Once you reach a certain financial and or fame level, women on the caliber of Lori Harvey are relatively common.
Oh, yes.
It just is what it is. It's not
right.
Me trying to say that I'm the smoothest or the this or the that, the best looking. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, at the point where your name precedes you actually meeting somebody.
That's right.
And they could Google you and they could do this and they could see what you're really about.
Right.
Those types of women have I dated women who look about as attractive as Lori Harvey? Yes, I have. Multiple times, serious, not only just messing around with, but serious relationships and so forth. I had seen her in person. She is a pretty girl, but it wasn't like, oh my God.
Right,
like,
no.
That's okay.
I had a bitch like Lori Harvey at 11. Listen to me. I'm not saying she ain't fine, but I've always kept a bad bitch breathing on me since I was 11 years old. From Snyder High School to Dairy Queen, and you're right. If your life is not getting better every day as you get older, it's something you're doing wrong. Lori Harvey, I had that type of bitch in 1974, 75. But I still think she's a wonderful person, and for anybody that try to take this story and flip it, I'm gonna make sure I put that in there.
Well, recently, the Utah governor signed a bill requiring fathers to pay half of pregnancy costs.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I don't see anything wrong with it either.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
The question is, though, if you find out that it's not yours.
And it's a lot like that, man.
Do you get that half of that money back?
I guarantee you don't get it back. And here's the thing: when they pass laws like that, they should put those type of clauses in there. Just like, I just want to know, and see, that's why we need more players in government. Like, if we had players at child support, when they had that meeting and they passed certain shit, a real motherfucker's like, now hold up, motherfucker, we ain't doing that. Like, we need people to say that. So yeah, they passed that law, but it should have been one person off the streets that said what you just said. Okay, yeah, we could do that, but what if the baby's not his? Can he get his money back? They never protect the what if.
Right.
The what if is important.
Right, and just like you, I don't see why a man wouldn't pay for half, if not all, the pregnancy costs.
I totally agree.
I don't even see why this is a law. I just assume that's just how it works.
I thought because when you said it, I'm like, what?
Right.
You can do this shit without paying?
But if it is a law and it isn't yours, you should be able to sue.
You should be able to sue.
That shit back.
Now, what about, I saw an article where a gentleman, it was on the news, I forgot what city I was in, found out the baby wasn't his. The judge still made him pay child support. That a lady who was a reporter in that city saw the article on the news, and she came to represent him for free.
I mean, listen, you got judges who rule in weird ways sometimes, and sometimes. I mean, this is where the appeal process comes in.
Yes.
Which means that if you want to appeal, 3 judges above that judge will actually look at the case, and if they vote, I believe 2-1, then it'll actually get reversed.
And here's the thing that people need to understand. I'm just gonna say some real shit. Everybody, at the beginning of this interview, I said, stop fucking. That's where 90% of all your problems in life come from.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're right. I mean, it usually comes down to a woman. For example, when we talked about the King Von shooting.
Yes.
It seemed like that whole beef with him and Quando Rondo stems from NBA YoungBoy's baby mother. Now, both of them are, well, I mean, King Von's not around, but, Quando's going to say that's not true. He even did an interview recently with Angela Yee saying he didn't even know that he had beef with the guy. Like, the guy just ran up on him and started punching him. But apparently it kind of ties into YoungBoy's baby mother.
Man.
And look, YoungBoy don't even claim her no more. He had like 7 kids after that.
Right, and that's the one that had a baby with Floyd Mayweather's
daughter, right.
So did he get out on bail? I know they arrested him in L.A. on the gun.
He's still locked up.
They got his ass.
They denied his bail because I guess that previously he had skipped some drug tests. So the judge said, I don't care if you're NBA Magic Johnson. I'm not giving you bail on this. You're just going to sit in jail until your trial.
Man.
To be worth that many millions of dollars. Yeah.
Did you see all those guns?
I did. Now, they're going to say it's not his. I remember I interviewed his brother. He said that he was just there for a shoot. He didn't know all that shit was there. But, it's one of those things where it don't seem like he listens to anybody.
Okay.
He got so hot, so young, and so big and just kept growing that I don't think there's anyone around that he actually really listens to.
Okay.
He's going to do, I mean, you can just tell by, he's got like 10 kids by like 19. Like,
right.
He's just out here just doing
He's
whatever.
Reckless.
He not even tripping.
Yeah, he reckless.
But now he's going to sit down for a while.
Man, he's in L.A. They extradited him back?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think it happened in Texas or Louisiana.
Yeah.
I know they caught him in L.A., but think about it. Watch this. So now you're on social media, and the feds is tracking you all the way down to the day they come arrest your ass. Man, and that's a sign of disrespect, me being a former criminal. And let me tell you why. When you have a powerful attorney and you have money, they're supposed to call your attorney, tell them that they will be issuing out a warrant for your client, and we would like to have a surrender date. That client, the attorney now calls the client and says, hey, they bringing charges against you. They want you to come in so that you don't have to go through them looking for you. And that probably did happen. He probably was on the run, but that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I don't think he really listens to anybody. I think that he is on his own direction, and the fact that he's in jail right now at the level that he's at, and he's got a bail revoked because of his own actions. I mean, basically, he was just skipping court-mandated drug tests.
Wow. That's the thing I tell the children today that y'all don't respect. I'm gonna say it to the camera. Y'all don't respect nothing. And this is why we end up shot. This is why we put ourselves in bad situations that we gotta have a riot. We gotta start protesting. I see the videos. I see the problems. Yeah, sometimes you can raise your hand and you have a racist cop that'll still kill you. But if people just listen to the police, you can pretty much go home and see another day. And the reason why I say that, it was a shame what happened with the young man getting shot in Minnesota. But if you see the video, they stopped him. He took off, got in the car, and took off while they was trying to grab him. All they had to do was just put the handcuffs on, go to jail. He'd have been out that night. The case wasn't that serious. And whether the lady pulled out a taser or gun by accident, whatever her situation was, no one wants to hold anybody accountable. We hold the woman that shot or cops accountable. We do that, but we gotta hold ourselves accountable too. You gotta know how to raise, be quiet. Yes, sir. No, sir. The goal is to get home. The goal is to see another day.
Yeah. I mean, running away isn't supposed to be a reason why you get murdered, though. So
no, but that's what I'm saying.
I can't really just sit there and say, well,
no,
it's his fault.
Listen to me. What you're saying
but
is
I understand
right.
he shouldn't have ran. He should have just gotten handcuffed.
And that's what I'm saying.
And
If you punch me in the eye, my eye gonna swell. That's cause and effect.
Yeah.
If you take off in the car and the fucking cops is right there, and there's a history of what they do. You're in the same city that happened to George. So what you're saying is right. It doesn't cause you to die. You're absolutely 100% correct. But I'm not going to give you a reason to shoot me. I'm going to stay my ass there like a man. Take whatever you're giving me. I'll go to jail. I'll get an attorney and we'll fight it. Or I'll go to jail, depending on the charge, and I'll bail out. Guess what? I get to see another day. And that's what I mean. Yeah. You're absolutely right. No one should die. No one should die with putting their knee on their neck. But I'm not going to give you a fucking reason to hurt me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the Derek Chauvin case is underway. It's going to be going for a few more weeks, from what I understand.
Yes.
Do you expect him to walk away, or do you expect him to do a bunch of jail time?
I've got two stories here. When I watched O.J. Simpson, and we know they had every evidence in the motherfucking world on O.J., down to the blood, down to the motherfucker climbing the wall, down to the driver. And O.J. walked out of that motherfucker. Who would have ever thought that you saw O.J. on the 405 freeway with 100 police cars behind him, go all the way up to his house, right? Now, they didn't even shoot at him. He drove over to his house, walked in, had a conversation. When he got there, they waited 2, 3, 4 fucking more hours before he came out and went to jail. Where the fuck do they do that at, right? So, is anything possible? You fucking right it is. What's crazy is we live in a country that's so backwards that you actually have a video of a man putting his knee on this gentleman. And we are still having a trial like it didn't happen. Just us going to trial is fucking insane. You see the videos on the man's neck. He's got his hands in his pocket with his glasses on the head. And we're still on TV every day on a trial as if it never happened. That's insane.
Well, I mean, we're in trial because he didn't accept a plea deal. And I'm sure that the plea deals are probably like 40 years or something immense. So he's probably thinking, well, I might as well try to fight it.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying this country's so backwards, you actually see him committing the crime. It should be no trial. The country should be.
Well, there should always be a
Well,
trial.
they passed the law. Yeah, always. Yeah. That's the way the country is ran.
I mean, look, I am not pro Derek Chauvin at all. I personally think that he needs to get the death penalty for what he did. But what I'm saying is that everyone deserves a trial. And this is where, you either go to court or you plead out. But you can't just say, well, it's clear what happened, you're sentenced to 100 years.
Right.
You can't just do that.
What you're saying is right. But I'm saying, listen to me for a second. Here's what I'm saying. They, just hypothetically then, they got a fucking video.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. I know we got to trial. I know you got to go to trial. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you see this. Like when OJ killed somebody, we didn't have a video. You ain't seen him doing nothing.
Right.
You got a video of the man doing that, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying we got a video. Yes, you got to go to trial. No one should be able to throw you away without proving it. But this right here, you see it, and we still in trial. And they might be thinking outside the box of my clever way of thinking, but that's what I mean.
Well, they recently announced that Baltimore will no longer prosecute low-level crimes like drugs and prostitution.
If I was a hustler,
you'd be moving to Baltimore.
Man, I'd be in Baltimore, dog. So now what you're saying, when you go through there now, women can really be on the corner selling ass and nobody gonna stop them? Wow.
Well, they're no longer prosecuting. Now, they might still get a ticket.
Right.
You could get a ticket, a fine. It's not like you end up going to court if you're parked illegally. You get a ticket.
A lot of people
choose not to pay the ticket, you might end up in court.
A lot of people gonna be moving to Baltimore, especially women who sell that thing.
Yeah, Baltimore about to be cracking.
Baltimore gonna be cracking.
Pimpin's about to be
reinvented.
Like the epicenter of pimping will be in Baltimore.
In Baltimore. I'm gonna make sure I use that too on my show when I go there.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Well, since our last interview, I've gotten vaccinated.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've taken Moderna.
Okay.
And at this time, everyone in California has access to it 16 and up. Everyone in New York has access to it as well. This is where my company is located.
Yes.
I feel lucky that my entire staff during the course of the pandemic, no one actually caught COVID.
Awesome.
Which is great. Just shows how careful we were generally. We didn't have, we had people work from home. We limited, contact. We had everyone wear masks.
Yes.
And now I'm seeing the majority of my staff get vaccinated as well.
Yes.
You yourself, have you gotten vaccinated?
I would like to stand on my fifth of privilege amendment. No, here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna wait a little longer, but I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I'm not saying no to it. I was going a little longer because when you do get in your 60s, like me, you do think of what if even more. And I don't want to do it prior to something that I'm working on, just in case. So once I get close to this goal that I have, I will be taking it. But like I said, they don't know what's really going on. Every day, every week is something new. They're saying that you still could get the shot and still can catch COVID. They don't know how long it can last in your system. So what I'm thinking is just like a flu shot, like how you get your flu shot, but you got to get the shot every year or every 2 years. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it eventually is going to happen. That it's like the flu, you're going to have to get it every 2 years because the vaccine that they created was for the one that started in 2019. There's new variants out now that they didn't make that for. So what do you do? And that's why they say you still gotta wear your mask, still gotta wash your hands, and you still can catch it. So I still wash even more than ever, and I still wear my mask. I try to stay away from people, and I pray at the same time.
Well, yeah, I took it, and it's like a weight has been lifted.
Okay.
I'm not as worried anymore being out and so forth. And yes, you can catch it. It's 97 or 95% effective. I believe Moderna's 95.
Yes.
Now, but the main thing is not so much that if I catch it, because obviously 5% of the people will catch it, but from all the vaccines across the board, what they're saying is that although you can catch it, there is essentially 100% chance that you will not end up in the hospital and die.
Okay, that's awesome.
Even if you do catch it.
Okay.
'Cause that's really the fear. If COVID was just, you caught a really bad cold and you recovered, it would just be another whatever.
Yes,
but the fact that people were dying and, ending up in the ICU, because look, I've had 3 of my guests die from COVID. Tommy Tiny Lister, aka Debo from Friday.
Yes.
He died a few months ago.
Yes.
Fred the Godson, the rapper, and Frank Collada, he's a gangster from Vegas. All 3 of them have died. And a 4th guest, Reggie Wright Jr., who used to be head of security at Death Row Records, has been on a ventilator for the last few months and has been in ICU. So we're hoping he's going to pull through. But when you're in on a ventilator for months, it's a cause for very serious concern. So my whole thing was, I was just worried about, as a 47-year-old man, catching it and ending up in the ICU, at which point, I remember when I interviewed Dr. Khan from Vegas, where you live, he says once you get into the ICU with COVID, you're at about 50-50.
Okay.
Half the people get out, half the people die.
Man.
So you got to keep that in mind.
Okay.
I took it. Now, if you want to hold on, that's cool. At one point, there might be vaccine passports where you might need it in order to fly to go to your shows. So look, you're pretty active. You've been doing shows a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I stay busy, but you're right. They're going to pass that motherfucking card. That card going to be, this is gonna,
yeah, I got mine, man.
Listen to me. I see it coming. I see it coming. It's going to be mandatory.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yep, I'm fine with it too.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it too.
I'm fine with that. And actually, just today, they actually halted Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, because it was a blood clots or something?
Because there was 6 cases out of 10 million that caused blood clots, but it was enough of a reason to say, okay, let's just halt it for now. And that's what people have to realize, because everyone's like, all these people are dying from the vaccine, and they're just trying to cover it up. Nah, when they see that there's a problem, they will.
And that's why I'm glad I waited, because I was gonna go with Johnson & Johnson because of the one-time shot.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I said, I'll go get one, but you ain't gonna get me back to that motherfucker twice. So
I got mine twice.
Well, good. But for the record, and I'm here, I'm definitely going to get it.
There you go. Well, you will join at least 120 million people, because that's how many people have gotten vaccinated in America already.
Okay.
About 500 million people have been vaccinated worldwide.
Okay.
So it's no longer, a test, like a lab rat test on people. You're talking about, by the time you get it, you're going to have close to 1 billion people worldwide that would have gotten it before you.
Yes. And I'm okay with that.
Yep. Kim Kardashian is now officially a billionaire. And she's getting divorced from Kanye at the same time.
Right.
You think those two things are related?
I think she really would have stuck with Kanye. We talk about them a lot, me and you. I think she really stuck with Kanye. I think that she just got tired, or they probably got tired of each other. And, some things just can't last. I'm glad that they got a beautiful family. You see the kids? The kids are beautiful. So, I wish them well. And if I saw her, would I holler? Because I said to myself, if I saw Kim Kardashian, we were somewhere and we had a conversation, would my player instincts come out? Because I'm a player. And I can see me somewhere and I see it just off of GP, because how I ran the streets with a lot of my homies back in the day. I sent over a bottle of champagne, but do I send over Moet or do I send over Ace of Spades? Do I got to really make a statement? Because she got good taste, right? I can't send Cooks. I can't send Cooks champagne. Now is Moet still being disrespectful? So if I really wanted to make a true statement, is it Cristal, nicely chilled? Or Ace of Spade, really cold with a man coming out with white gloves, and the gloves are so warm that you start seeing the heat. You know how when something is cold and it starts, that heat starts to melt the ice that's around it? Does that impress us? Is this not a thing? Or do I just buy a drink and walk over and say, what are you drinking? And do you need me to do anything for the kids?
Hey man, listen. If somehow you end up with Kim Kardashian,
yes.
I will.
Let me tell you something.
Take my hat off.
Thank you. But here's my thing. See, you know why I can't date women that got children? Because I know who I am. Like if I meet a woman, she got kids, and she cheat on me, I'm gonna leave your kids at the park. I'm out, bitch. I'm taking care of these kids, and you cheat on me? Where my kids? Bitch, they somewhere. I left them at the park at 3:30. It's 11 o'clock now. They could be any motherfucker where. Oh my God.
That'd be crazy. So Akon, when he was on my show last time, he was talking about building Akon City in Senegal. The country gave him a big plot of land, on the ocean, and he's building this whole city. And recently, he announced he's actually building another city in Uganda.
Awesome.
Or Uganda.
Yes, Uganda. Yeah. Those are real power moves in the world in hip hop. We talk about social media, music, TikToks, and whatever our rappers and stuff get into, but to create a city.
Multiple cities now.
Multiple cities, man, is fascinating. Make sure you tell Akon that TK Kirkland said hello. We spoke a couple times years ago on the phone, and then we all went separate ways. But it's an honor to know he was from Jersey City as well, because I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Well, yeah. I mean, Akon is just thinking bigger than all of us.
Yes, he is.
Is what I saw.
Yeah.
And me and him go back from like one of his early songs.
Yes.
We did interviews way before VladTV.
Yes.
When VladTV was just a DVD. And we kept doing interviews, and it's always like so much love between us. And
yes.
We did like a 2-hour interview recently. And I've always felt that historically, out of all the people I've interviewed, he's the most important person.
Okay.
Now, have I interviewed people that have sold more records, have more Grammys, have more followers, have more money?
Yes.
Yes. Yes on all of those.
Right.
But when it's all said and done, do these people have cities?
Man.
Have these people brought electricity to hundreds of millions of people?
Right. Next level.
With the whole Lighting of Africa project? I can't say that about anyone else I've interviewed.
Nobody. It's listen to me. It's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Whole nother level.
Yeah. What he's doing is just on he's dealing with presidents.
Yes.
And dictators.
Yes.
And whatever the hell else is going on.
And creating zip codes.
Creating zip codes.
Yes.
He's going to have, and I remember we were comparing it, I forgot what interview this was, but we were comparing it to like Kanye. And it's like, oh, well, Kanye, he bought all this land in Wyoming and he's going to have his own manufacturer and everything. And I'm like, Kanye ain't going to have his own police force on that land.
That's right.
Akon is.
Yep. Own police force. Damn, that's powerful. If that ain't real, coming to Africa, I don't know, the fuck coming to America, coming to Africa is a whole nother level. Awesome story. Awesome journey.
Did you watch Coming to America too?
Nope. And I'd rather not speak on it because I don't have nothing nice to say.
Really?
Yeah, nothing to say, nothing. I don't think I put it like this, I don't think that you can outdo the original.
Okay. Well, I watched it. I felt it was a classic.
Okay.
Did it outdo the original? No. But I thought it was a great film.
Okay.
And I feel you being a fan of the original, you're doing yourself a disservice by not at least watching this.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's my opinion. That's
I respect that.
Because they brought back so many of the original characters so well.
Right.
That you will just enjoy that aspect of it, regardless
all right.
of what else you feel.
As soon as I slow down, I think I might take a look at it then. You piqued my interest.
There you go. What'd you think about Michael Rappaport leaking out Kevin Durant's DMs?
Wow. I want to know how it got so heated that he felt that he had to do that. What was said to him that particular day? Because what I read with Durant is that they talk to each other like this all the time. But I guarantee he won't do it no more because the NBA charged him $50,000, fined him $50,000.
Right, which is like $1 to you and I.
Right.
The $50,000 really didn't make that big of a difference to Kevin Durant. I mean,
right,
hold on.
but it's still $50,000. It's still $50,000 though, Vlad.
Kevin Durant has a net worth of $170 million.
Wow. Let me tell you something.
Do some math. 50.
I could be sitting on 7.2 billion. 50,000.
Okay, hold on a second. One more time, because
okay.
50,000 divided by 170, 000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is 0.02 of 1%.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
but listen, and maybe because I'm older than everybody, you know. See, I used to work a 40-hour-a-week job. Mm-hmm. See, I understand how they take our state, local, and federal taxes, right? I remember when you had to work a whole month just to bring home $1,700. I remember you get paid every 2 weeks.
Right.
You understand? So if I hit a large sum of money today, 50,000 is 50,000. But if I had 170 million, yep, 50,000, 50,000. Just ran through my head. It came back 50,000, 50,000.
Right. The money doesn't really matter. I was disappointed that Michael would actually expose some DMs like that. As someone that's had that type of thing done to me, you know, I've had DMs reposted. I've had my phone conversations recorded.
Really?
Posted.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Vlad.
That bullshit.
You know a lot of haters, yo.
And I've had conversations with people who I felt I trusted that would go in and go on the internet and say, well, Vlad said this, this, and this, and this.
A lot of haters.
So I understand from Kevin Durant, I'm surprised that he even said all that on a DM, knowing the level of celebrity he's in, knowing that that's probably going to happen. And that's the thing, like a lot of people say, oh, well, a lot of these celebrities, they don't fuck with no one. They don't form relationships. They don't do that. Because this type of shit happens so often.
It's so true.
That you get to the point where you can't even talk to anyone without worrying that this is all just going to...
It's scary, man.
Circle back.
Right. It's scary, you know, Vlad.
You can't work out, sometimes you can't work out issues with people because you know there's too much of a risk that you trying to work it out with them will somehow get recorded or something and thrown back into the public to the point where you just say, it's safer just to not say nothing.
Yes.
Just leave it alone and have this person feel how they feel, and I just go on with my life.
I agree.
Because, Kevin's now thrown into this whole thing, and there's some homophobic slurs in there, and there's some violent threats and shit like that. Did he mean it? No, I don't think so. But still, he might have lost more than 50,000 behind that. He might have lost some deals behind it.
You're right. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the Tiger Woods? Why they don't want us to find out what happened in the car? Why are they hiding that?
What do you mean?
You know, Tiger Woods.
Oh, the Tiger Woods situation.
Yeah, why? Well, I'm saying that you don't want things to happen because of fans, right? But what I'm saying, I'm switching the subject just a little.
Okay.
Tiger Woods was in a car accident, but the police is saying they don't want to release the information because of his privacy. So when I hear that, I'm saying, was somebody giving him head? Was somebody sucking his dick in the car and he had an accident? Right. Like, what? Why would... What?
Maybe. I mean, with Tiger Woods, that wasn't surprising.
But, I mean, they didn't find nobody else, but what was going on in the car?
he threw out the car before it crashed.
Vlad,
I can't have you in the car with me.
Did you know that, though?
I've been through this before. No, I didn't know
that. Why won't they release that information?
I don't know. I mean, when you're worth $1 billion, you can pull some strings.
Wow, it's interesting.
When you're worth $1 billion, you could Yeah, you could really make the police department go along with, you know, what you want to do, especially when a lot of the police are fans of you.
Yes.
Think about that.
Right.
Like if you're into golf, you're probably a Tiger Woods fan.
Oh, absolutely.
The greatest ever to ever do it.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You're probably a Tiger Woods fan.
I agree.
So, you know, it is what it is. TK Kirkland, always a pleasure, man. Glad you're doing well. Now, you know, you got shows all over the place. Go to TK's Instagram account and you can see everywhere where he's booked. He's selling out shows. I remember I saw you were selling out, 7 nights in a row? In the Bronx, was it?
Yo, Philly, Cleveland. It's been a beautiful thing, and I'm truly blessed.
That's what it is.
That's
man.
what it's
Until
about.
next time.
Thank you, my man.
Peace.
Yes, sir.